Okay, so we've gotten a lot of requests to do a deep dive on the Liam Payne case.
Yeah.
And I got to admit, this one's a little bit tough for me.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
Just given his, global fame as a member of One Direction,
Yeah.
and to have something like this happen.
Absolutely. And just the circumstances are so unusual. I mean, you don't often hear about hotel employees being charged in a case like this.
Right. So,
Okay.
I mean, we know that Payne died back in October
Right.
after falling from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires.
Right.
But now we have 5 people facing charges.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Right. So we're not just talking about, potential negligence on, maybe somebody's part.
Yeah.
It seems like there might be something more to it.
Right. Potentially.
So let's try to break this down a little bit.
Yeah.
So for starters, for anyone who might not be completely up to speed, can you just give us a little background on Liam Payne and One Direction?
Sure. So One Direction was, a massive global phenomenon. They're this British-Irish boy band that came out of the X Factor back in 2010.
Right.
And they just exploded in popularity. And we're talking like Beatlemania level fame for a while there.
Yeah, for sure.
And Liam Payne was one of, the core members of the group.
Yeah.
He was known for his powerful vocals and his kind of bad boy image.
Yeah, I remember those days.
So his death was just a huge shock to, millions of fans around the world.
Oh, absolutely. So then what happened?
Well, as you said, he was in Buenos Aires.
Right.
And he fell from the balcony of his hotel room. And initially, it was reported as a tragic accident.
Yeah, I remember seeing those headlines.
But then the investigation started to uncover some things that didn't quite add up.
Okay, so what did they find?
Well, the details are still a little murky, but from what we've gathered from Argentinian media sources,
Okay.
an Argentinian judge has ruled that there's enough evidence to proceed with charges against 5 people.
5 people? Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
So who are these people?
Okay, so we have 2 main groups.
Okay.
First, you have Payne's manager.
Okay. Yeah, his manager, why would they be involved?
Well, that's one of the big questions right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the manager's role in all of this?
Yeah.
Were there any decisions that they made or pressures that they put on Payne that might have contributed to the incident?
I see.
Things like scheduling conflicts or demands for appearances.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a high-pressure industry,
Right.
especially for someone who was, already dealing with the aftermath of such a huge level of fame.
Yeah, exactly.
So the investigators are definitely looking into that aspect.
Okay, and what about the second group? You mentioned hotel employees.
Right. So that's where it gets even more complicated.
Yeah.
Because now we're potentially talking about negligence on the part of the hotel itself.
Right.
Was there something wrong with the balcony? Were there any safety regulations that weren't being met?
Right.
Were there complaints that were ignored? Things like that.
Yeah, that makes you think about like maintenance records and stuff.
Exactly. And witness testimonies from other guests.
Right.
Maybe even security footage. I mean, they're going to be looking at everything to see if there's a direct link between the hotel's actions and what happened to Payne.
Yeah, so it could be anything from, like you said, negligence to something more like, like a cover-up or something.
Right. And we can't rule out the possibility of foul play.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're saying this might not have been an accident at all.
Well, it's definitely something that the investigators are considering.
Wow. Okay, so then what happens next? I mean, what are the potential legal ramifications here?
Well, that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because depending on what the Argentinian court finds,
Yeah.
this case could set some major legal precedents.
Okay, so like what kind of precedents are we talking about?
Well, imagine if the court finds the hotel or the manager liable.
Yeah.
This could have a ripple effect on how hotels and management companies all over the world approach security and the responsibilities they have towards their guests.
Wow.
It could even impact legal contracts and insurance policies within the entertainment industry itself.
So you're saying like this could change how things are done on a global scale?
Potentially. Yeah, it really underscores how important it is to be informed.
Yeah.
Not just about the details of the specific case,
Right.
but about your rights and responsibilities when you're traveling or working abroad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to get caught up in the headlines and the gossip.
Right.
But this is a real reminder that tragedy can happen to anyone, anywhere.
Absolutely. And while we wait for the judicial process to play out in Argentina,
Right.
it's a good opportunity for all of us to think about how we can prioritize safety and advocate for accountability,
Yeah.
no matter where we are in the world.
Wow. Well, this has been a really, sobering deep dive, to say the least.
Yeah, it is a tough one.
And our thoughts definitely go out to Payne's family and friends and all his fans who are dealing with this loss while this is all going on.
Yeah.
But for everyone listening out there, I mean, what can we say? Like, what should they take away from this?
I think the biggest takeaway is to stay informed.
Yeah.
Follow this case closely because the outcome could have some really far-reaching consequences.
Yeah, for sure. Consequences for the travel industry, the entertainment industry, even, just like you said, personal safety when we're away from home.
Exactly.
So, yeah, stay informed and, I don't know, be careful out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.